Hey, this is MJ, and in today's tutorial I'm going to be showing you how to make our Snuggle Season Stocking. It features a puff and post-stitch pattern. The yarn that I'll be using is wool of the Andes Bulky. I'll be using the color white in today's tutorial. You'll need a 6.5mm crochet hook for this pattern, and also make sure to take your hanks and roll them into cakes before starting. So we're going to begin with a magic ring. Take your hook, sliding it through, and then take the first loop, pulling it through, and we'll chain 2. Now we'll work 11 half double crochet in the ring. Okay, so once you've worked 11, push your work out of the way and take your tail, pulling it. You're going to see this loop pulls in, this loop doesn't. So take the loop that's pulled in, give it a tug. It's going to pull that other loop. Then just take your tail, pull that tight. And we're going to do a reverse slip stitch to join. So I'm going from back to front. So normally you would go front to back. We're going to go back to front, but see how I didn't have this yarn pull to the front? You want to make sure your yarn is pulled to the front, go through, and then you're just yarning under, pulling that yarn through. And then we'll chain 1. So that's just going to help our join line not be as noticeable. It just helps with that line. So now we're going to work 2 single crochet into every stitch around. And then once you've worked all the way around, we're going to reverse slip stitch to join again. So make sure your yarn is to the front of your work, back to front. And then I just grab the yarn with my hook, pulling it through. You can give your hook a twist, pull it through the loop, and chain 1. This round will work just 1 single crochet per stitch for a total of 22 stitches. So we're starting out with the toe of our stocking, and we're going to increase up to 44 stitches. For this pattern, you do need a multiple of 4. So we're going to work up to 44. Now we'll reverse slip stitch to join. Chain 1, and we'll do another increase. So we'll work a single crochet in the first stitch and then 2 single crochet in the next. A single crochet in the next, and then 2 single crochet in the next. And now repeat that pattern all the way around. So 1 and then 2. And this will increase us to 33 stitches. Okay, I'll reverse slip stitch to join once I get all the way around. Chain 1, and we'll do 1 for every stitch for this round. So 1 single crochet per stitch for a total of 33. It's always a good idea to count and make sure that you are on track. Okay, and we'll reverse slip stitch to join. If you're struggling with this, do a regular slip stitch. That's completely fine. Chain 1, and we will do another increase. So this is going to bring us up to the 44 stitches that we need. So we'll crochet 1 in the first 2, 1 single crochet in each of the first 2 stitches, and then 2 single crochet in the next. So 1 single crochet in each of the next 2 stitches, and then 2 single crochet in the next stitch. And repeat this pattern all the way around, increasing to a total of 44 stitches. So now once you've worked all the way around, I'm going to reverse slip stitch to join. Chain 1 and work 1 single crochet per stitch for a total of 44. Okay, so I've worked all the way around. I'm going to reverse slip stitch to join. Chain 1, and then I'm going to work half double crochets in every stitch around. So to half double crochet, we're going to yarn over, go through the stitch. Now you want to make sure you're getting this stitch here that we've slip stitched into, and a half double crochet in every stitch around. So a total of 44. Okay, and we're going to get ourselves set up for our stitch pattern at this point. So we're going to work these half double crochets for a total of 44 all the way around. I'm going to reverse slip stitch, chain 1, and now we're going to get into our pattern. We're going to half double crochet in the first stitch. Okay, so this is our first stitch down here. The next stitch, we're going to do our front post double crochet. So yarn over, we're going around the stitch. So you're having that stitch pop up on top of your hook. You're going to yarn over, pull through, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2. Now we'll half double crochet in the next. Okay, so here is the stitch for the half double, and then that next stitch we're going to do the front post double crochet. So yarn over, we're going down around that stitch, so the stitch is on top of the hook, yarn over, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2. So we're going to repeat this pattern all the way around, alternating between a half double crochet and then a front post. And I always look down here at the stitch posts to make sure that I'm skipping every other one. So this one I skip, and then this one I do the post in. And once we get these post stitches established, it makes the next round a little easier. So half double, front post double, half double, front post double. Okay, we'll work that all the way around. So now as we come to the end, you should be ending with a front post double crochet because we started with a half double. I'm just going to do regular slip stitches now. I'm not going to worry about reverse because we'll be doing something a little differently now. So we're going to slip stitch to join. I'm going to chain 1, and now we're going to turn our work. So this is where it gets a little trickier because when we do our puff stitches, we want them, they will pop through to the other side. So you want to work a puff stitch on the wrong side of your work. So this time, we're going to need to work back post double crochets in the front post that we have previously worked. So you can see that the stitch is raised, and it makes it easier when we're feeling as to where the next stitch goes. So we're going to yarn over, we're going to do a back post. So we're going to go pushing the hook so we have that stitch up on top of our hook like this. We're going to pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2. Whoops. And then pull through 2. And now our next stitch, which was the half double crochet from the previous round, we are now going to do a puff. So we're going to yarn over, we're going to go through the stitch, pulling up a loop, pull it up to the height of these stitches. Don't let it tug down like this or you're going to really struggle with those loops at the end. So pull it up a little bit so everything's about even. Yarn over, go back down through the stitch, pull up a loop, pull it up so they're all even, yarn over, go through the stitch, pull up a loop. So you've done that 3 times and you should have 7 loops on your hook. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Then you're going to yarn over, pulling through all the loops and chain 1. So now see how nice and easy that worked through. If you had let your hook go down and tug that too tight, it's going to be really hard to get through all the loops. Now we have another post, our front post from our previous round. We now work a back post. So yarn over, we're going to push that post up onto our hook, yarn over, pulling up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2. Now our next stitch, we're going to work a half double. So the puff stitches are only worked in every other stitch between the posts. So posts are always worked, and then we have puff, half double crochet, puff, half double crochet, puff, half double crochet. So we've done a half double. We're going to do another back post double crochet. I'm going to speed them up now. You can always rewind the video to go over if you're not familiar with that stitch. If you're familiar with it, then you're going to buzz through this fairly quickly. Also, if you're familiar with post stitches, you'll buzz through this fairly quickly. So the next stitch will be another puff. So we'll go through it a little quicker this time. So I'm yarning over, going through, pulling up a loop, yarn over, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through all the loops, and then we chain 1 to secure it, and then a back post. Then a half double crochet, then a back post, and then a puff. So we've yarned over, go through, pulling up a loop, pull your hook up, yarn over, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through all 7 loops, chain 1. So once you get the pattern down and you get the stitches down, you will buzz through it pretty quickly. I feel those stitches with my fingers as I go as well, but you can always just keep your work turned so you can kind of see what you're doing. So I'm going to repeat this all the way around. So now I've done my front post. I'm ending with a half double because we started with the puff between the posts. So we're ending with a half double. Now I'm going to slip stitch in my first front post double crochet to join. I'm going to chain 1 and turn back to the right side. So this round you'll be able to work through it quickly once you're on the right side. It's a little easier. And we're going to work a half double crochet, a front post double crochet, and a half double crochet in the puff, sort of the eye of the puff right there, and then a half double, or sorry, a front post double, and then a half double in between. So we're doing that half double front post alternating all the way around for the right side round. So this round will go really quickly, but we're always turning now. We're turning to get back to the wrong side for the puff stitch round. And so this is the foot part that we're currently working on. And we will keep alternating our rounds to get that foot length that we're looking for. You can always play around with lengths and change it up if you want, or follow exactly the rounds that I have in the pattern. Okay, so I'm ending with that front post double crochet. I'm going to slip stitch into the top of the first half double crochet to join. Chain one and turn, and we're going to repeat our puff stitch round. So let's just go through a couple stitches, and then what we're going to do is just repeat the puff stitch back post round with the half double front post round to get the length we want. So our first stitch here on this round is always the back post double crochet. So we'll get that worked. And now that our puff stitches are established, you'll always kind of see that you need to work the puff above this puff, okay? And then the half double will be above the next one there. So I just use this sort of as a marker to make sure I stay on track with that. So I'm going to yarn over, I'm going to go through, pulling up a loop, yarn over, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through all 7 loops and chain 1, back post, half double crochet, back post, double crochet, and then another puff. 1, 2, 3, yarn over, pull through, chain 1. So let me grab the stocking that I have finished so you can see the foot section on this one. So if you take a look here, this might be the easiest way to go is by your puff stitch rounds and how many that I have done. So I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So I have 6 rounds, and we'll actually be stopping on that front post or that back post round. We'll get those posts done and the puffs done, and then we'll work on the heel section. So work away at this section. If you want that the foot's even longer than what I've done, you could always do a couple more rounds or whatever you're comfortable with, and then meet back up for that heel section. Okay, so once you have your rounds with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 puffs, I'm ending on the wrong side. What we're going to do is fasten off. And like I say, you can always do additional rounds if you want a larger foot section. So I'm going to fasten that off, turn my work, so I'm coming back to my right side now. And I'm going to count across. Now make sure that you aren't counting your chain 1 as a stitch. You want to count your post, your puff, your post, your half double. So we're going to count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So we're going to join into that puff stitch. Okay, and chain 1. So a single crochet in the puff. Now you don't want to do a single crochet in the chain. We're going to go into the front post and go across 10 stitches. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay, and then we need to do 10 across the other side of the join. So this was the join. So now we'll do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay, so you have 10 single crochet on this side of the join, 10 on this side, so we have 20 in total. And we're going to work a total of 10 rows of single crochet worked for the heel. So that's row 1. We'll chain 1 and turn. And this will be row 2. Okay, so I've worked across 20 stitches, chain 1 and turn. So I'm going to work back and forth now. I'm going to do a total of 10 rows of single crochet. Okay, so once you have your 10 rows, we're going to chain 1. Then this is the right side. We want to fold the right side together, and we're going to slip stitch this to form the back of the heel. So we'll put a slip knot on our hook. We're going to join right here and in this row. I'm going to chain 1, and I'm going to work half double crochets across. So 1 per row. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So we're going to do a half double crochet into the puff, a front post double crochet, half double crochet, and we're going across this section of the foot just like this, alternating our half doubles and the post stitches. So I've ended with a half double in this post here, and that has got me 25 stitches across. So I've done 10, I've done 25, so I want to add in another 11 stitches so that I end up with 46. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So the 11th stitch is sort of going in that seamed section, and then we will slip stitch to join. chain 1. Now you need to bear with me here. This is where things get a little bit trickier because we're going to the wrong side so that we stick into our puff pattern. We have to establish all of our posts and doing that all to the wrong side of the work. So what I like to make sure is that I'm going to be to my puff stitch here. So I want to make sure that I mark out what to start with here so that I can tie into this pattern perfectly as I work around. So what we're going to do, as long as your stitches are all lining up perfectly like mine, this is how it should work. So we're starting with a post stitch. So yarn over, back post, double crochet. Then we're going to do a half double crochet in the next, back post, double crochet in the next, and then a puff in the next. Chain 1. I always look back to make sure that I'm grabbing the right stitches to do those post stitches. Once you get this all established again, it is going to go really smooth. It's just getting it to line up correctly with your pattern. So a back post, and then we're doing another puff. Chain 1, okay, back post, half double, and then a post, and then we should be reaching our pattern section, and we should have a post going above that post, and we have hit that. So because this was the half double, so we're back to the post. So I've done it correctly, and then once we're into that established pattern section, it's a little bit easier. Okay, so you can just sort of follow now your pattern. And I can always tell here is my post. I know or my puffs. I know I'm doing another puff. So I'm going to work across this part now, across the pattern. We'll meet back up on the other side because I know this is tricky. Just take your time. I know it's a little fiddly, but doing it this way, we keep this pattern completely consistent. It just sort of blends into the leg seamlessly. Okay, so I've reached the edge here of the foot and I've worked my puff stitch, and now we're getting into those stitches along the side. So now we'll do our our back post double, then a half double, back post, and a puff, and I'm going to continue this across. Okay, so I'm at my 9th stitch doing the back post, and then we're ending with a half double crochet. Okay, and now I will slip stitch in that starting front post to join, chain 1 and turn. So basically or the back post, that post stitch here runs that center seam, and then a half double on this side, half double on this side, and then it's all even, okay? So that sort of marks the center, and then we go half post, half post, half post, and half post on this side. So it ends up being even overall. And now's the easy part. We can just work in our established pattern like we did for the foot. So the leg is going to be worked the same way. So now we're back to the right side, which is always our easier round. And we'll start with that half double, then a front post double, half double, front post double, and that is going to be worked all the way around. We're ending with our half double and then that front post double. Okay, so I'm going to work this all the way around. So I've slip stitched to join. We worked that front post double in the last stitch. We're chaining one and turning. So we start with the back post and we follow the established pattern. So back post, half double crochet, back post double crochet, and then the puff. Back post double crochet, half double crochet. So we're going to repeat this all the way around, and we'll take a look at the stocking that I have finished and see how many rounds of the puff we're going to do at this point. And it's really easy to look at it this way. We can see from our heel, here is our first puff stitch round. And I like to just count them. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So basically double what we did for the foot. So 12. And then I have finished with our right side round. So the half double crochet front post round, whereas at the heel, we ended on the puff stitch round. This time, when you get to the top here, you're ending on the front post. So ending on the right side. Okay, then we'll finish with that single crochet all the way around. And then we're gonna do a join as you go ribbed band that's going to fold over nicely. I love the fold over style, just gives you a little extra room if you need it for stuffing that stocking. So I am going to continue working away at that. I will meet you up to show you how to do the join as you go ribbing if you've never done that before. So once you've completed all your rounds, so I have a total with 12 puff stitches from the heel, and I finished working that right side round. So the half double front post alternating. And we'll work one single crochet per stitch around. So we're going to go one in the half double and then one in the front post double. So you're working around a total of 46 stitches. Okay, so I've worked around 46 stitches. I'm going to slip stitch in that starting single crochet to join. And then we're going to work our band, and I'm going to chain out 21 for that. Now we're going to work a single crochet in the second chain from the hook and in each chain. So we're going to have a total of 20 stitches for our band. Now you can always alter this if you want to make your stocking a little bit bigger. You could make this band even bigger than what we've done, or you can always add more rounds to the leg section of the stocking. Now when you're doing a join as you go ribbed band, whether you're adding it to a stocking, a cuff, a band, whatever you're doing, it's all very similar. So as many stitches as you have around, you will need the same amount of rows. So we have worked one row so far, And if you really take a peek at your stitches here, when we slip stitch to join, we slip stitched into that first stitch. Okay, so we've now worked a row for this stitch. Now what we're going to do is slip stitch into the next two, and we'll work 2 more rows for those 2 stitches. So you really have to look and see you've already slip stitched into this one. If you go back down and slip stitch into that one again, you're going to end up with more rows than you need. So you really need to pay attention as you work this part of the pattern. So I've already slip stitched into this one. Here is that first row. Now we're going to work a slip stitch for the next 2 stitches. So when you come back down again, you're going to see that there's a slip stitch here, and it will be the next 2 again that you will slip stitch to. So then we'll turn, you skip over those 2 slip stitches that we made, and then we're going to work single crochets through the back loop only. So now once you get to the end of the row, we'll chain 1, turn our work, and we're going to work back down the row. So single crochets through the back loop. And I like to count as I go with these rows so I don't lose track. So you should have 20 stitches. So I've worked down 20. And as we get down here, you want to really look again at your stitches. So here, this stitch, you can see we have that slip stitch that we've worked into it. We now need to slip stitch into the next 2. And we'll work 2 more rows for the slip stitches that we just did. So we skip 1, 2, and then single crochet in the back loop. And again, even if you only have a short amount of stitches, it's always good to count them so that you stay on track. And as you can see by looking at your ridges here count for 2 rows. So 1, 2, 3, I'm working on my 4th row. So again, you're going to have the same number of rows as you have stitches. So you know if you get too many of these rows that it's going to get a wavy look. It's not going to look proportioned to the piece that you're making. So you want to make sure to count your rows. Your rows are going to equal your stitches. So for this pattern, we have 46 stitches worked around, so I'm going to go ahead and work 46 rows. Okay, so once you have all of your rows complete, we're going to slip stitch it together. So I'm going to chain 1. I'm going to turn to get in position here. And I'm going to slip stitch this together. So you can go through the back loop and then over to the chain. Going through each stitch. Okay, and then we can fasten off, and I'll weave in this tail. So now you can add some embellishments. You could do pom-poms, use a pom-pom maker to hang some pom-poms, but I'm going to show you how to make a tassel. And this is just to match the other stockings that I did this season. So we have a fair amount of yarn left over. I'm going to make some tassels. Now you can always use your leftover yarn for ornaments as well. So I'm going to go with a 15-inch length. And I'm going to section off 30 pieces. Okay, so I have 30 pieces. I do sections of 15 just to make it easier when I'm pulling those off. I'm not even going to bother trimming those ends because we'll do that at the end. So I'm going to cut off 2 additional lengths, about 25 inches. You don't even have to really measure them. Just make sure you get 2 that are long. One may be longer than the other. But if they're about 25, that's good. Then you're going to take one and you're going to tie this in the center. And this will be for tying to the stocking. Now I like to add some beads. So I have a 20 and a 25 millimeter here. And all you need is your yarn needle. And the one that I have here for bulky yarn will go through the beads. I'm going to take the larger bead, put that on the base. And the smaller bead. Okay, so we're going to use this to tie. And then we'll take our other piece, and this is the one we'll use to make the tassel ball. You can make your ball as big as you want. I like to wrap the yarn around twice. It just holds it well, and then you can give it a knot. And then I like to just take these 2 tails and just wrap it around a couple times. And then I'm going to take my yarn needle again and weave this down through, just down and behind. Okay, so these are so quick and easy to make. Even they're great to hang on your tree. You can make them a little bit smaller. And I'm gonna grab my bigger scissors here. So I didn't trim my loops because basically you're gonna wanna trim the ends anyways and get everything even. Oops. Now to attach it, I like to find my seam, and I'm going to attach it down to the bottom here. And you can just knot this. You can weave these tails if you want. Or just trim them. I'm gonna weave them to the inside, just get them out of the way so I don't see the knot. So now the stocking is going to look nice whichever way you hang it. All of our joins are coming along where the stocking is folded. So having this on the seam here, it doesn't matter which way you hang the stocking. Now for hanging it, you can really add whatever you want. You can add a personalized tag, and I have my faux leather tags that I can use, or you can make a simple little I-cord as well. So I am just going to add one of my personalized tags to hang the stocking. So I want to do it right on the seam, and make sure you're happy with where your band is folded over. And I'm going to take one that's a little bit longer. You want to make sure that it pushes through, and then you can snap this on, and then you want to give it a hammer. You've got tools here in the kit for doing this. Okay, so I've added the tags, and now one thing I do want to mention is the white yarn does work up smaller than, for instance, the camel yarn. I found the camel to be much heavier in thickness, and just looking at, there's always sometimes variance between colors, but you can see that the camel definitely looks plusher than the white. So you may get some variance in size. Now what I like to do once this is all done, you can trace your stocking out. It is really important to block them. I had a template already from the holiday weave stockings that I cut out, and I made these stockings the same size so I could use the same blocking boards for them. So what you're going to do, and really don't skip this step because it does make a big difference in stretching the stocking out and making it look its best. I just saved my shipping boxes and cut the cardboard from a box, just from items that I've received, yarn, stuff I've purchased from Amazon. I just kept the boxes. And as you can see, the white one, you get a little bit more show through of the cardboard because it's not quite as plush. You will notice a difference when we put the camel stocking on. But this really helps to give it its shape. And you can hang it with the cardboard if you want for it to look nice, or even after. I find once it's been blocked, it does keep its shape pretty good for hanging. This one has already been blocked, and you can see it has its nice shape. Thanks so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this tutorial. If you did, please give the video a thumbs up. And if you haven't already, please subscribe to my channel and tap the bell to stay updated on all my new videos and tutorials. Make sure to check the description box below the video for all the links. Thanks so much, guys. Have an awesome day.